everybody! So, welcome to It's a Sweet and Savory Life. Today we are doing one of our very first home chef recipes. Now, Tim and I are just starting testing out these meal planning services, and Home Chef is one of them. And today we are going to be making this delicious recipe here. And that delicious recipe is actually the Farmhouse Fried Chicken with mashed potatoes and a scallion gravy with corn. So it's really simple. It does list on the side here what comes in our little bag. Also, it lists what we'll need and the step-by-step instructions. So we're going to be completing this today. If you are interested in seeing how this recipe goes, keep on watching.
Alright, so what we're going to do first is we're going to start prepping to make the mashed potatoes. So right now we want to cut the potatoes into 1/2 inch dices. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fill this pot up with enough water just to cover the potatoes. And then we're going to basically boil these potatoes, cook them up until they are tender enough where you can stick a fork right through. Alright, so now we got our pot of water. Potatoes. Now, just to get when you're cooking mashed potatoes, before you even start the water, or start the potatoes to boil, you want to add some salt to them. Just a couple pinches. That's all. It's kind of like with pasta. You just want to season your water so that way it kind of gives that nice salty taste. It doesn't taste bland at all. Alright, we're going to turn it up to about a medium high heat, just to get the potatoes to boil and start the cooking process. And while that's happening, what I'm going to do is I'm going to prepare the other ingredients. I am going to first start slicing the green onions on an angle. So we're going to use the green onions as a garnish, and we're also going to put them into the wet mixture for the breading process. Alright, so now we got our green onions all set, ready to go. Now the next step is we want to heat canola oil in a medium pan over medium heat. And while that oil is heating up and get it nice and hot for the chicken, we're actually going to prepare the chicken. We're going to pat it dry, and then we're going to season both sides with a little bit of pepper. And then we're going to combine a mayonnaise and a water mixture and start the whole breading process. Alright, so this is what the chicken looks like. It's all packaged up, and it does have a bunch of moisture in there, which is why we have to pat it dry. They also sent us the right amount of canola oil in this little bottle. They also sent us some mayonnaise as well, 2 packages, so that's going to go in there. We have our breading package right here for the chicken, and then we have already our 2 teaspoons of water measured out, so that's all set, ready to go. And right here we do have a nice medium-sized stainless steel skillet pan. This is nice because it has plenty of room for the chicken to cook, so that way it gets evenly cooked. Alright, and we have our paper towels all set and ready to go. And right over in the middle of the oven or stove, we have our salt, and we also have our pepper for the seasoning.
One nice thing about the chicken here on this cutting board that Tim's going to use is we've already prepped all of our vegetables, so we do not have to worry about cross-contamination. So Tim is good to go to use the same cutting board.
This pan is dry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start trimming off the fat on these fillets, just so that way it's a much leaner chicken fillet. That's just for my preference. You don't have to trim off the fat. If you like it on there, just leave it on there. But for right now, I am going to trim it off. Now I'm going to pat the chicken off one more time just to make sure it's nice and dry. And with the chicken fillets, if you can't make it, absolutely dry, that's totally fine. That's just how meat is. A little bit of moisture on the chicken is actually really nice when it comes to breading the chicken. Allows the breading to actually stick to the chicken, which is what you want. Alright, now we're going to season the fillets with salt and pepper. Alright, so now that the chicken is all set, it's seasoned, I'm going to go wash my hands. Alright, so my potatoes have been boiling for quite a while. They are going to be done in about 5 minutes. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with step 2 of this. I'm going to heat canola oil in a medium pan over medium heat. So I'm going to use this right here. Give us the perfect amount. Get this out of the way. So when you're frying chicken, it's messy. Like I said, we're going to put it on medium heat. And with stainless steel pans, you want to do it a little less than medium heat, just because stainless steel is it conducts heat a lot easier than other pans. So we're just going to set it to a medium low. All right. Next step is to pat the chicken breast, which we already did. We're going to combine the mayonnaise and 2 teaspoons of water in a mixing bowl. And then we're going to place the chicken breading in another mixing bowl to get this whole process set up. We get the mayonnaise packets. And while I'm doing this, Tori is going to drain my potatoes for me, since I am kind of busy right now.
I have no problem helping out. And with the potatoes, now that they are drained, I'm going to let them sit there for just a couple of minutes and really let a lot of that moisture from that water kind of drain out. Then I am going to return them to the same pot, and I'm going to add about half the amount of butter that they sent, and they sent 2 little pats of butter that looked like this here. So I'm just going to add 1 of these, and then I am also going to add 1/4 of the cream, and they sent cream in a little container like this, like the little milk cartons you would have got when you were in elementary school. This is 4 ounces, so I'm going to add about 1 ounce of it. And then I'm going to do a little bit of olive oil and a pinch of salt. And then once that's in there, I'm going to mash them until they reach our desired consistency. I'm going to put a lid on them and set them aside. And you'll see here, Tim is doing the mayonnaise and the water. He's going to get a fork and mix that up. What does that mixture look like, Tim?
Kind of looks like chunky milk.
Yum.
That's what you love to hear, right?
Better be good, home chef.
Alright, so that is well combined. Alright, and now we're going to get another bowl. And we're going to put our breading in it, which Tori did for me already, which is awesome. Now we're going to set up the breading process. We're just going to use the sink. Breading. Alright. So now it says to dip 1 chicken breast in the mayonnaise water mixture, then coat completely in the chicken breading, shaking off any excess. Repeat with the second chicken breast. Now the reason why they say to shake off any excess is so that way you're not getting just a clump of the breading. It's gross and it's just not needed. Plus it makes the chicken look a lot nicer and more pleasing.
So off camera, like I said, I've drained those potatoes. I've put them in here. You can see the salt, the pepper, there's a little bit of olive oil, the butter pat's right over there, and there's some of that heavy cream mixture. So now I'm just gonna mash these off camera and I'll show you what that consistency looks like. And while I'm doing that, Tim's gonna do the chicken.
Alright, so now we have our little system here. We got the chicken, then we got the wet mixture, and then we have our chicken breading, and then we have our pan with the canola oil, which I believe it's all set and ready to go with heat, but I'm just going to check. I'm just going to test the oil just to see if it's hot enough. And what you can do is you literally just can take a pinch of the breading, not a lot. You just dip it in, and if that breading starts to sizzle when you put that into the pan, then you know that your oil is ready for the chicken. Alright, so here we go. Alright, so now we got our chicken all in the pan, sizzling up, and what the next step is that we have to cook it for about 3 to 5 minutes on each side. What you want is you want a nice golden color on the chicken breading, and then once you have that on the one side, you flip it over to get that nice golden color on the other side.
And you can see here, our mashed potatoes are ready to go to the consistency that they want, or that we want. So I'm just gonna put a lid on them and set them off to the side.
And now while the chicken is cooking, we're gonna start by cooking the corn. So this is what the corn looks like. It's how they packaged it. Just a little thing of corn. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put it in this pan right here. Alright. And then the next thing it says to add a teaspoon of olive oil in the pot and then stir occasionally until it warms through. It's going to take about 5 minutes. Now, knowing Victoria and I, we do have a wide selection of olive oil and balsamics. So we're going to use one of our olive oils. It's the wild mushroom and sage. And we don't have any plain extra virgin olive oil at the moment. We'll be getting some soon. But for now, we're just going to use the wild mushroom and sage. We're going to do about a teaspoon. Turn that on. And let that warm through. Alright, so I moved the pan, the pot of corn to the burner so that way I'm not having to lean over the frying chicken because you can basically ask him to get burned by oil. And nobody wants that. Alright, and once the corn is done, the next step is we're going to take the corn out of this pot and then we're going to use the same pot to make the gravy for the fried chicken.
So we think the chicken might be ready, so the way to test it is just gently pick it up on the edges there. And you'll be able to tell if it's ready. I maybe give it another minute or two on this one side to really be sure that it's cooked all the way through on that one side so we're not flipping it multiple times, which is something you don't really want to do with chicken or steak or really anything else.
Alright, now let's check this chicken, see if it's nice and golden brown on the other side. Oh yeah, that's how fried chicken should look. Right, so now we're going to flip it on the other side. Get the other chicken, flip it.
Remember, always flip. When you're flipping anything that's being deep fried, you always want to flip it away from you. Otherwise, you could cause severe second or even third degree burns. And how long are you going to let this chicken cook for, Tim?
So 3 to 5 minutes. Now this corn is all cooked or heated through. So what we're going to do is we're going to put that into a separate bowl. Alright, now the next step is we're going to put the corn into a pot, or into a bowl, which we did. And we're going to add the green onion. And then we're going to add the remaining cream and bring it to a simmer. Alright, so now with the cream and the scallions, this is going to be our gravy. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this to a simmer. It's going to take about 3 to 5 minutes. You want to continue to stir it until it thickens up a little bit. And then once that's done, we're going to remove it from the burner and then swirl in the remaining butter that Home Chef just sent us. And then we're going to add a little bit of pepper. Alright, so now the chicken is about done. Look how golden that is. It's beautiful. So what we're going to do is Victoria's going to put the chicken and she's going to place it onto the plate that has the paper towel. And now the cream and the scallions are now boiling, are now simmering. So what we're going to do is we're going to lower that heat a little bit. What we're going to do is you want to stir it up.
I'm removing the oil from the hot pan, or I'm sorry, I'm moving the hot pan from the burner because I don't want that oil to keep heating up. I want it to cool down.
Really good.
Look at that beautiful sauce that he's making. Tim, you want to show him how it looks? Just angle it, babe. Isn't that gorgeous? So we gotta let this go for probably another couple of minutes until it gets nice and thick, right?
Yep.
Okay. See, it's so easy to make a simple cream sauce, isn't it?
Yes. Alright, so now that this sauce is starting to get thick, the next step is we're gonna turn the heat off. We're gonna remove it from the burner. We're gonna move this potatoes. We're gonna put them on a pot holder so we have room in the stove. Now we're gonna add the remaining butter.
And while he is doing that, I'm going to temp the chicken. Now I'm just sticking our thermometer in all the way through to the center, most thick part of the meat. And I'm just double checking to make sure that that chicken breast is up to at least 165 degrees in temperature. If it's anything below that, we need to reheat up that oil and get that chicken back on there. It needs to keep cooking. Should not be consuming any sort of chicken that's below 165 degrees.
That's how you get sick.
That is how you get sick. So we do want to season this with a pinch of pepper.
Alright. I'm gonna add up that pepper. A little bit more. Definitely want to salt for taste. So, our gravy is pretty much set and ready to go. So now we have our cooked corn. We have the rest of our green onions for the garnish. And our potatoes are off to the side, which are right over here. Voila. And then we have our fried chicken.
I am temping the second chicken breast. The first chicken breast was up to temperature and ready to go.
The second one's up to temp.
Perfect. So now Tim's going to grab plates and we're going to plate this up.
Alright.
One thing I do have to say is the amount of corn that they sent does seem like an awfully small amount for 2 people. So Tim has gotten the chicken on the plates here along with the potatoes. He's doing some of the corn. And then he's going to do the gravy. Alright, and now we're gonna dig in.
Alright, so this is the finished product. We're gonna dig in. I think this looks really easy. You know, I'm honestly gonna need a knife.
So far, presentation-wise, I think it matches up with Hello Chef pretty nicely.
I am pretty talented. So, let's move it over here.
All right, here we go, here we go, here we go.
All right.
Let's see how weirdly he cuts his meat.
Cut this bad boy. All right. That is awesome.
Yeah?
Has the perfect amount of seasoning. Has that perfect crunch that you expect from the fried chicken. Honestly, I would give this a 5. 5 out of 5. The only thing I would change though would be the corn. Add more corn. But yeah, this is awesome. Mashed potatoes.
I just tried my chicken and it was pretty amazing.
Right? Potatoes are really good. Yeah.
Alright, folks. 5 out of 5 rating?
5 out of 5 rating.
Alright, perfect. Alright, folks. Well, thank you very much for watching. If you like these kind of videos, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and subscribe to It's a Sweet and Savory Life. Also hit that notification bell so you know when we upload future videos. If you have any comments, leave them down below, and we will see you next time.
Watch her shows. She's pretty talented.
Bye, guys.
Bye.